Here I am. Welcome, ready to share something that I think is really powerful with you. But there's a couple of things that I want you to know in the beginning is that if you feel that I'm being a little bit harsh, I'm not. I'm being clear. And I think part of our challenge in this industry is we are not clear enough. And I come from a place of love, but it's also sometimes you've got to give a little bit of a and I'm not speaking directly to any one of you. What I'm doing is speaking through my experience when I was a salon owner and also through the experience that I have on a day-to-day basis and helping people to get out of their own way, basically, shift their beliefs. Because if you have the belief you have now and you're getting the results you have now, then something needs to change. So I know why manifestation works and I know why it doesn't work. And the reason I know is because I have firsthand experience. And I think we all just do the dumb shit that I've been doing. And it happened in my salon business. It happened in my coaching business. And it just happens, like it's just the way we're wired. I think, I don't know, maybe it's the way I'm wired. Maybe it's because I have a neurodiverse brain, which is a brilliant brain, and I think a little bit differently. But one of my superpowers is that I truly understand the way or have an appreciation for the way the salon owner thinks. And it doesn't come from a place of judgment. But if you want a different outcome, you're going to have to do something different. So you can manifest until you're blue in the face, but if you don't understand the core principles of manifesting and why things will change for you, it's a waste of time. You can do 5 hours a day. It's not going to change a damn thing. Or you can try what I'm going to suggest to you now, right? So what I'm going to do is give you some examples of where I think that you are probably barking up the wrong tree, so to speak, like I was, or um, it comes down to being grateful or not being grateful and wanting something because you want it. I want what I want and I want it now. It's a very selfish way of thinking. Now we do that as children, but as we get older, we learn that that behavior doesn't get us anything. So we know to manipulate that behavior in public, but when it comes to being truly honest with what we want what we want, and we want it now. I often talk about the unfairness of losing weight, right? The unfairness of losing weight is that if you do all these things for days and days and days and days, I will start to move the needle for you. You think, well, give me what I want and then make me where I want to be, fitness and healthy wise, and then I promise I'll be good. But give it to me first. And people probably would succeed that way, but it ain't going to work like that. And we all know that if you can hold your breath long enough to lose weight, you will short term. But what we're wanting here is a complete change of the way we think about our food and our exercise and our sleep. And that's the only way you're going to have lasting change. Now, I could say exactly the same thing about your salon business. If you're thinking, I just need a team member to put him in there and then I'm fine. My receptionist just left. I just need another receptionist and then I'm fine. And that thinking is, I want what I want and I want it now. And you're not prepared to unpack as to why you have that problem in the first place. So I want you to understand that I haven't got a mean bone in my body. And I often give away my time to people because I care and I want to help. But in the early days of my coaching and in the early days of owning a salon, I gave away time because I thought they might be a client. And when they weren't a client, I thought, well, that was a waste. And that's what I'm talking about, change in mindset, right? Now, it's difficult for you to understand. So I'm not expecting that you're going to watch this and completely change. All I'm asking you is that if you were to make some percentage direction shifts in the way you want to go, you will get there. Nobody changes overnight. I don't care what you say. It takes years, right? Me included. And you will have some change and you'll think you're a bit fancy pants and smarty bum, and then you'll go back to your old ways. And then I'd say, yeah, that worked. And I'll give you a classic example of that. when you first start working with me, one of the things that you promised me is that you will do your one-on-ones, and you do, because you knew it's a new relationship, exciting. It's a bit like when you meet a fella for the first time, you always make sure your breath's squeaky clean and you've got new underpants on in case the wind blows your dress off, and you do all of these things. But somewhere along the way, you start to cut corners, and perhaps so does he or she, and before you know it, you're in, same again Sam situation. Children come along, the pressures of work, and then you think, oh, and you watch a sexy movie where somebody's falling in love, and you think, oh, gone are the days where I used to have passionate sex like that, or love making, whatever you want to call it. But you know what I'm talking about. And you think, well, what are you doing about it? He doesn't bring me flowers. Do you bring him flowers? Like, you have to look at your part of it. And that's what this is about. It's about looking at your part of it. And if you're not prepared to look at your part of it, then this is not the right YouTube or whatever Simon's talked it in. It's not the right place for you. And we're just never going to get along. So if that's you, free to go. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're not my kind of person. And the older I get, the smarter I become about working out who is my person. And I want someone who is going to ask me, who wants to know where they're getting it wrong, not who's there to argue, right? So there's two types of people. The first type of person is going to go, no, see, I showed you, look, I did that, didn't work. I did that and it didn't work. Done it, didn't work. Referral program, yep, done it. Made hardly any difference. Okay. And you just did it the once. Yep. Can I have a look at it? Yeah, somewhere here. Don't know where it is. Okay. So do you think maybe you want to have another go? No, I did it. I want to do something else. Okay. The trick is in going back to the same thing and doing it again and improving it and improving it and improving it and tweaking it and tweaking it and tweaking it. And that's not very sexy, but that's where profit comes from. It's about doing the same thing on repeat, only improving it all the time. Now, if you think about in my early days of coaching and presenting, and I had to do these kind of things, you know how many times I used to do this before I was even happy, and then I wasn't happy? Now I couldn't find my soft lipsticks. I put on a red one because I couldn't find it. These are not my favorite glasses, but they're fine. And I've got a bikini bottom on, and I'm sitting in a tiny corner of a room where I've got a new puppy to look after that's really sick, that just happened to fall in our hands. Anyway, that's a whole other story. And so my day's been blown up, but I could have said, oh my God. And I'll throw this in. I went to yoga, was sick, fell asleep. I said, I can't do the yoga because I've got a sinus infection. Put my head upside down. It hurts like hell, like really hurts in my face. And she said, just relax, just meditate. So I did, fell asleep, woke up, everyone's gone, came out of the yoga studio, got on my bike, came out of the yoga studio, got on my bike and crossed a busy road and got hit by another lady who knocked me down to the ground on my bike, right? So I've had an ordinary day, right? Then I've come home to a puppy that's crying and it's in pain because it's got termites and fleas and whatever else. So I'm not telling you that so you think I'm a superhero. I'm telling you that because shit happens to all of us all the time, right? It's not my best day, but it's not my worst day either. And it's just what happens when you live, right? So I'm not going to not ride my scooter because that's how I get around. I rang Simon and he came and got me. My scooter was fine actually, but my gut intuition told me that don't ride home without Simon knowing you've even had an accident, because nobody knows. Like, what if I fainted? I didn't know. I didn't anyway. And I just went straight home and he followed me and he was fine. So you have to be smart, right? But you also have to realize, how lucky am I? Not, oh, my poor thing, and go on to think bad things about happen. If you do the numbers on the amount of bike rides I've had in Bali and the numbers of the people on bike rides, it's just really a matter of time before someone's going to hit me. I'm so lucky. It was a small hit. I fell on the ground. I don't know, all these lovely people came in from somewhere, picked me up, straightened my bike and moved it to the side. Someone came out of a cafe and gave me a glass of water and I sat there for 25 minutes till Simon came along. It's no fucking deal, right? It's just what happens when you live. I didn't have conversations with myself about, wow, that's what happens and people are idiots and they can't write. I didn't have any of those conversations because I don't do that. What I realize is I have to look, what's the message in this mess? What's the message? And the message for me is Who wakes up from a sleep in a yoga class and then gets on her bike? Why didn't I sit and have a drink or a glass of water or just get my bearings or something? Like if I had my time again, I wouldn't have gone straight out there. So I'm doing things that cause me to have that accident. Now, I don't even know what happened. It happened that quick. I don't know if she was, I don't know. Next thing, she's hit me. I saw her coming just before she hit me. What are you going to do about it, Lace? It's just going to happen, right? I had a helmet on, so grateful for that. I didn't get hurt, so grateful for that. I got a lot to look forward to. End of story. Yes, I'm 60, and yes, I'm riding a motorbike, and there would be people listening to this going, she's a nutter. Good, well, this is not your podcast. You're free to go, right? But if you're someone who wants to look at herself or himself and think about, what's my part in this? What part could I have done differently or better? And we all have lucky and unlucky breaks. That's it. Get over it, right? So it's 10 past 5, and that is not a time when I would do a podcast, because at the end of the day, I feel quite tired and I'm not my shiny self. But you know what? This topic I could do in my sleep because I'm so passionate about it. And it came up today and I want to do it because I'm fired up, right? So the topic is manifestation. Why does it work and why doesn't it work? And I can tell you why it doesn't work. People start their manifestation, or now manifestation, you can say it is your connection with the higher power. You could say it's your intuition, it's your divine intuition. You could say that there is someone greater than you, and you could say it's a God, and you can say it's a religion. I don't mind. And to me, they're all same. It doesn't matter. So I have a connection with a spirituality or my higher power. I don't know that it's a man or a woman, actually. When I grew up as a Catholic in a very Catholic family, and it was God, who's Jesus. He had disciples. He had a wife called Mary. I think, no, Joseph, Mary, and then they had Jesus was the baby. So it was a whole different thing, religion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your spirituality and your connection with the universe, or someone who's telling you when you're right and when you're wrong, right? Your gut feeling. Maybe that's what you call it. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be spiritual, right? But I'm telling you that somebody made us and someone's going to take us out. And I reckon that's who we're talking about. Okay. So when I've heard people say, I prayed to God and said, spare me my child and I will. So quite often you tap on your spirituality or your God or something when shit's going bad, and you beg for this thing to go right for you. So there we go. Back to the I want what I want and I want it now. What about the rest of the things? What about what else you're grateful for? What about all the things that worked out wonderfully? Like people picked me up, put me on the sidewalk, nothing wrong with my bike. There's a bit of skin off it. That's all right. Fine. You know what I mean? Like, what's that? Why am I saying, well, this is wrong and this is wrong or not? So when you say I need, right? So let's use the example of finding a team member, because that's very common for lots of people. I just need help. I just need a team member. And they say the thing that they need, right? And I think, okay, so how long have you been in business? Or they might say, I need more clients, or I need a new team member. Have you had a senior before? Yeah, and she left. She freaking left. I just trained her. I just got a thing and she left. Okay, that's all about you, wanting what you want, right? So if you're going to manifest on, I need a second year, good luck with that, love. It ain't going to work, right? And what you're doing, and you're focusing on your selfish behavior of, I want what I want. If you think about, I love servicing clients. I love training team members. So send me someone that I can train. Now, if you're watching this on video, you'll see my face lit up when I talked about what I loved, not what I need. Give me this, give me this. It's like a spoilt child, right? So if you think about what you love, and if you love training someone, and so many have apprentices and they hate training them. So why would the universe send you another one when you've got some and you don't even treat them well? And that's the truth. You don't. And I see it time and time again where salon owners go, I'm just looking for this and I'm just looking for that. And they're only looking for that. Not looking for someone who wants to work 3 days, want 2 days. Not looking for a junior, I want a senior. Not looking for a senior, I want a junior. And they want what they want and they want it now. That is never going to work, I can tell you now. So don't even bother with your manifestation and your and you're connecting to your higher power, because he's going to just skim over you or she and go, next. I want a person to work with who says to me, there's got to be something that I can do or learn or grow in a way that I can understand my struggle. Nobody's come to me ever in all the years I've done what I've done has ever come to my door and said that. They tell me what the problem is. They tell me what's wrong with everything. I want a decent person. I don't want the ads I get. I put in there and I get all these foreigners. They can't even speak English. I want a decent person. I think, wow, okay, with that racist attitude, do you think the universe is going to give you a decent person? What is a decent person? Seriously. And you might be there going, yeah, that's all right for you, Lisa. You don't have a salon now and it's changed. No, it hasn't changed, because when I had a salon, it was the same. And you know what? I was exactly like that. I was exactly that person who complained and said, wow, the problem is this. I train them and they leave. And I'd take on girls that were 16 or 17, train them in all the skill set, and then they'd go and work 50K back into Melbourne, into the city. And I was like, shitty about it. Why? Just keep training them. You're good at training them, Lisa. Just keep training them. And it's like a sausage pipe. You get a girl to a second year and you put a first year on. And when she goes up to third and she goes up to second, you put a first year on and you make a sausage. And that's what you do. Use what you're good at and keep repeating it. But many, many people don't. They want what they want and they want it now. I just want a senior and I want a decent one. I think, really? Okay. And are you a decent team member? Are you a decent salon owner? Do you have incentives? Do you have one-on-one meetings? Do you really care about training people? Do you care about your industry, or are you still doing this job because you know how else to make money, and you've been doing it for 15 years, or you brag about that, and I think, yeah, and you're tired. And it shows. It shows in your clients, it shows in your language. Excuse me. So you finding someone is going to be challenging. And that's a very hard pill to swallow. And so this is why I struggle sometimes to work with people in their 40s and 50s, because they're set in their ways. And what they've done is they're putting together a pile of proof. See, look, told you. I just had one not show. She said she'd come today at 12 o'clock and she didn't come, and I crossed off an hour and she didn't come. How do you know she's not under a bus? See, it's all about you. I want what I want and I want it now, right? Now, I'm not saying that you be there, that people walk on you and wipe their feet on you. Not at all. Nobody wipes their feet on me, I can tell you. I'm absolutely clear, absolutely clear. And I keep my side of the street very tidy, right? So doesn't mean I always have, and I've lost my way on many occasions. But you have to understand, why did this person not show? Did you perhaps engage with her and ask her good questions? Did you have a phone conversation and see whether this person really is passionate and interested in your business and interested in growing? Did you have a conversation, or did you just go from she applied, you flicked her a text? And I know people like to use text today, nothing wrong with that. But have you engaged with this person and sent them even a video of what you're passionate about and asked them to answer 2 questions? No, you haven't. And so what happens is they go from, this is like dating to marriage. It's not going to work. You need to put it out there that this is what you're prepared to do. You're prepared to go over and beyond. And the questions aren't must be, must have, won't tolerate. Like, who'd come and work in that situation? You need to get to know that person and be interested in them. Stop trying to be interesting and try to be interested in other people, right? Now, I would always do a call before. Now, if you do calls before and they are not responsible, or they don't respond, and they're not on the Zoom screen when you ask them to, and because you ask them, you say, I'm going to put this time aside for you, and I'd like you to do the same because I'm really keen to get to know you. If for any reason that you can't, can you let me know? Can you give me another number? Because I would not like, and I don't want to judge you on this, but sometimes people just disappear and they ghost you. And I don't want to set my time aside for someone who's going to ghost me. Now, if you have that conversation, it's so likely that the person will not ghost you, because you've brought out into the open what might go wrong. It's out there. Right? Now I'm clear, still not mean, still interested in what this person has to offer, but I'm absolutely clear about where the boundaries are, where the edges are, what I'm prepared to do. and then perhaps say what you'd like to talk about in the meeting. You'd like them to come together. And when we come together, I'd like to talk about what's your goals? Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time? What's really important to you? What lights you up? Because I want to make this the best place you've ever worked. And the only way I can do that is if we get to know each other and what our needs are. And so I'm really looking forward to get to know you. Now, would you feel there's a bit of love in the room if you did that? I think you would. Rather than, yep, come, we'll talk about it. You've got no plan. You come to the menu with no plan, no question, nothing. And these are all the list of the things that you want. Once again, I want what I want. I want it now. And this is why it's not working. So if you're going to start to manifest on what you want, you need to get this Gary groundwork done, because your manifestation is not going to work. It's as simple as that, right? So I want you to change it to I'm ready. I'm ready to take on a team member because, rather than I want a decent person, right? I want you to change from I need a person who can answer the phone, I don't know, cut hair, whatever you want to do, to I love what I do. I love it, right? I'm so passionate. And I'm looking for people to help me, because I know if I can get the right help, people who are keen and that want to grow, I can give my wisdom, part that onto you, and together we can look after more clients. Like, that just thought of having more clients in my neighborhood leaving with the best haircuts they've ever had just lights me up. Now, someone who's lazy and just wants to show up for a paycheck's going to go, well, I don't think that's going to work. I'll have to actually work in that environment. No, thanks. And because we had the conversation about ghosting you, she's not even going to let you down. She's just going to cancel here and now. True? Because there's a lot of shitty places you can work. But if you really want to be a standout person, you have to do the standout things. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple, right? And when you get knocked down, you get back up and you don't make a song and dance about it. You just get on with it. That's called life. And I say this all the time. Your life doesn't get any easier. I can tell you that. But does it? You just get better with dealing with the hard. Do you think when I was 25, I got knocked off my motorbike on the way out of a yoga class in Bali, I would have coped? No. You become more resilient. And the way you become more resilient is you be more grateful. Be more grateful for all the wonderful things that you have. Shelter, food, people who love you, business, for God's sake. You know, you could have been born in so many countries in this world and you would never be allowed to have a business, never alone a woman to have a business. So just think about that for 10 seconds. Incredible times. We live in incredible times. There is nothing between you and everything. Your trouble is, and the same as me, is we forget. We get this little amnesia thing going on, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying that you're at fault and I'm the person who's got it all right. Mate, I don't have it all right. And I'll give you an example. A week ago, I felt like, oh, everything's doom and gloom, because this time of year, and it happens quite often, but there's people who get all stressed out about the load of work they've got to do, and they're not the clients that I've had for 12 months. They're the new clients, and they go, can't cope, I'm running, and they run, right? And I know they're stressed, but I don't go, oh my God, it's such a drainer. Oh my God, these people. I don't do that. Send them a message of love and go, I know this is a tricky time for you, and I really appreciate your honesty by saying this is all too much. But you know what? I'm not giving up on you. My program is called Healthy, Wealthy and Kind. That just does not refer to your business. It refers to you. So if you feel in a state that you have not any time at all to have a chat to me about how I can help you, we've got a problem, haven't we? So work out when you can find a time. Let's have a chat and I'll help you. It's not, oh, well, look it up. Useless. Didn't think she'd get there. No, we don't do that. And at times you just need to go away and drop the program and don't do it for a little while, because shit happens. And I appreciate that too. But running and hiding is a behavior that lots of salon owners do. And I think, why do they do that when they don't like it when clients don't show for them? So why would they do that? So what you are putting out into the world is what the world is giving you back. So if things are going badly for you, think about where you're sending that message. Where are you cutting corners? Where are you not doing your part of the deal? Are you the salon owner who's the first one in the salon every morning? Are you the salon owner who sets up things, or are you skidding in after your client's already there and you've made a call for someone to shampoo or get her ready or something like that? Like, how are you showing up? Are you wearing your makeup and representing the beauty industry like you should? Are you doing your hair and representing the hair industry as you should? Or you're a slack ass who's lost her way? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but you have to own it. We all lose our ways, right? And so the reason I'm giving you this difficult lesson is because I want to help you, right? But we can only work on it together if it's 49.51. If you purchase any program and you don't use it, they don't work. I've done that. I bought 6 weeks abs and didn't get past lesson 1. But I don't shit can and say the world's wrong and nobody can have abs. I'm realistic to know that no one's getting abs in 6 weeks unless you've done years of training, and then you got a chance, right? So I understand that that is not what's going to change me and give me abs. I'm probably past abs anyway. But what's going to change me is the little decisions that I make every day. When I look in the fridge and I think, okay, I could have a nice cold drink of water, squeeze a lemon, or I could have a Diet Coke. You know which one I'd rather have, don't you? It's not in my fridge anyway, because I'm not that strong. And I give in. Not when I'm in the day, but at night time I do. I go, let's just have the Diet Coke and the chocolate bar. And then I feel like shit. So you have to know your limits. You need to move things out of your way like a child because you want what you want and you want it now. Now, I have ADHD, and the worst thing in the world for me, well, there's 2, gluten and pretend sugar. Terrible for my brain. So I wouldn't even have them in my house. The same as you wouldn't wash your hair with shampoo and you wouldn't put oil of Ulane on your skin. Don't know if that's a brand. It used to be around when I was a kid. Let's say Pond's, right? Or Fructus or something. You wouldn't use those products. Why? Because you know better, right? So be compassionate and kind to people who don't know better. A lot of your clients don't know better and they don't know which products to use. So they use the crappy ones and then they come into you and you scold them for it. Don't do that. Just give them love and share what you know. Give them a sample. Just be a gorgeous you. That's not letting anyone walk on you. But I wouldn't be going, here's all the products. I'd be saying, here's a sample I want you to use. And when you come in next time, I'm going to talk to you about it. Right? So use it because I'm going to ask you about it. And you write your notes. And the first thing you say is, how'd you go? Did you like it? They go, no, I hated it. Oh, tell me about that. Not, you're such a drainer. Oh, no. Lean into what you can do more. You need to be in service. We are in the service industry, and I am disappointed at how often I see the lack of service. So if you own a salon, you are in the service industry for your team members as well. The greatest gift you can give them is a security that they're never going to lose their job, that they will always be trained, they'll always be listened to, they'll always be heard. You make a team member safe and they'll stay. You know, I know they move away for some reason. Some of them want to be policemen, and that's different. I'm not talking about that. But if you haven't done an inventory on why people leave, right, and you can tell yourself all the stories you want, but quite often people leave because your leadership lacks. And that's why I lost some of my coaches, because my leadership wasn't good. I wasn't well. It's not excuses, but I'd lost my way. And so no one's going to follow a person who's lost her way because she doesn't know where to go. And that's the truth. Did I think like that in the first? No, of course I didn't. I blamed her and I blamed her and I blamed her and I blamed her. And it wasn't until you start to unpack how did you get into this spot that you start to realize that you have a lot more say in how your life turns out than you think you do, right? Now, you don't have a say in how it turns out, so that probably came out wrong. What you have a say in is how you see the world and how you view what's going on. So there's 2 things you can change. If you want to be happy and you want to really see the joy in the world and you want to live in a wonderful place, there's something you can do and there's something you can do. We can change the world. And some people believe they can't. That's a big job. But you can change your view of the world. And you can start looking for things that are good, things that light you up. opportunities. The same way as I whinged and whinged and whinged. I can't find any seniors. No seniors want to work in my little country town. All the cool kids want to be in the city. You know what? The young kids who owned a horse or a pony who were still growing up and lived with their parents, they wanted to be in the country. And you know what's really good about the country? You know all the kids you see her in the supermarket. You know her sister, you know her mother, and so it had wonderful advantages, right? And so training kids in the country can be a huge advantage. Even marketing to your business in the country, word of mouth's like a bushfire. Now, in the city, you don't have that because I'm still waiting for one girl. She's 26. She wanted to do a senior apprenticeship. She came, she did 1 day's trial. The second day she came back and I said, where is her? I can't remember her name. And they said, I don't know. And they called her name. She didn't come out of the back room. So they went and looked for her and her handbag's gone. I'm still waiting for her to come back from lunch, right? So each area has its challenges. In the city, I had heaps of wonderful, talented hairdressers who wanted to work in a great salon. But I found it really hard to find good kids in the city. Isn't that interesting? And maybe it was just a suburb I was in, right? So every place has its challenges. And that's the other point I'll say. If you chose the salon you have in the location you have, because you did, then I didn't choose it. So why are we blaming? Why are we still moving on? Oh, in my area, they don't do this. Oh, in my area, it's really bad. In my area, it's this and that. I've heard it all. You've got no idea. I've heard that in the high-end areas like the Bayside areas, oh, those women can't pay to have their hair done because they're paying their mortgages and their school fees, darling. Okay, if that's your belief. Let's work with that. If that's true, I don't know. Certainly is the people you're attracting, because out of the 30 clients you see in a week, one person says, oh, I can't pay that because I'm paying my mortgage, darling. And then you go, oh, people have got no money in this area. That's what I mean by you chase the hole. You keep looking at the thing that you can't control and you try and control it. And then you go, that's it. Here's my pile and put it in the proof of its pile. Told you this area. I had 2 this week. Yeah. You know what? How many clients came in the door? You probably looked after yourself 30. She looks after 30. She looks after 25. All right. Now we've got 60 or 70 clients and 2 said you're too expensive. And I say that's a really good ratio. You're probably feeling like, oh, God, why did I listen to this? You listen to this for a reason. And somewhere in the universe, you came to be here. So be grateful. And go away and manifest on it. But what you need to manifest on, what you love and what do you want to do more of. You need to also be ready, do the work and be ready. I said to a girl just yesterday, she said about she's looking for a senior beauty therapist. And I said to her, she goes, we haven't been able to find someone, blah, blah. And I said, okay, so when you came to me, you had one that wasn't working out and you let her go. Now you have one that wasn't working out. You worked with her, with me and with her and with you. And who changed? You, me or her? She said, we did. The salon owner did. I said, yeah. And guess what? Is she good now? She goes, she's a ripper. I said, there you go. I didn't do the work. I helped you and I guided you, but I wasn't there in your salon. You did that work. And so that little girl just needed you to listen to her. Little girl, 25, let's be honest. She needed you to listen to her. She needed you to love her. She needed for you to service her. So this is the best place. And she said the problem was she was doing tasks that she couldn't do, like reception and all of those things. And when we took those off her, she absolutely thrived. But she didn't want to say, I don't want to do it, because she wanted to please the owner of the business. But all she was doing was failing. And then her morale was dropping and everything was going downhill. So through consultation, we worked out what was going on. We made the reasonable adjustment. Now, if she couldn't do all the things, then of course she wouldn't have been suitable, but it wasn't that. There was just a few little things that she was focusing on that she was failing. Once we changed those things and set her up to succeed and loved on her, praised her for all the things that she did, she just blossomed. Right. So now they're looking for a senior, and because their business is growing so fast that they need a senior, they're happy to do another junior as well, but that's going to take time. So this time they're looking for a senior. But she said, if we'd got a senior back then when we had no skill, it would have been a waste of time. I said, exactly right. That's why you never got one. That's why the universe never got you. It gave you one. She goes, wow. I said, yeah, it's pretty clever. Pretty clever. Right. So you have to think about are you ready, and what are you ready for, and what do you love to do? What lights you up? Like when you start talking about it, you go, oh, can't wait. do that. And some of you have to be really honest because you're doing something you don't even love to do and you're wondering why it's not exciting. That's interesting. Right. I'm going to wind it up soon. So I think people make a big deal and a song and dance about it. What I want you to do and try and be wrong. Try and get someone to point out, and I'm more than happy to do, where you could be wrong. You could be wrong about your area. You could be wrong that people don't want to pay that much money. You could be wrong that you can't find a senior. You could be wrong. You could be wrong that you've advertised everywhere. You could be wrong that you've done everything. Try and find out where you're wrong. Chase being wrong. That's where the message is, right? Chase being wrong. I can't tell you enough how important that is, right? I want you to say things like, I've come to realize that, and empty the sentence there. And just write it. Just write it down. I've come to realize that this. I no longer believe that. But just start with those sentences and then just journal it, and you'll realize the answer will come when you spend the time. Has anyone had an epiphany in the shower and you think, oh my God, that's so good. That's so good. You can't wait to get out and you got to write it down. Or I have them sometimes in the night and I have a pen beside my bed and I write it down because in the morning I think, what was that thing? And usually it comes back to me. But what the reason that happens is because you've emptied your brain. At the end of every day, I meditate and thank my higher power for creating me and making me so healthy and well, and thanking him for putting me in a position where I love, because I don't feel like this is work, let's be honest. I've got jobs to do, but I don't think it's work, that I get to help these people. It's like it lights me up. I think, wow. I say all the time, I wished I had me when I was your age to steer me around things, but I didn't. Bad luck. I worked it out myself. I'm that resilient little shitter. So what you got to do is send the message. Give me a sign. Tell me where I'm going wrong. Give me a clue. Give me a hint. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to get the message. And you just watch what happens. Fascinating, right? I think that you have to realize that I see so many people struggling with team members, and it is the thing that a lot of people like to say, people of today, young people today, all of that. Yeah, good. Well, every generation has its challenges, mine included, and so does yours, right? I'm the very end of the baby boomers. Can't remember what their problems are because I'm not really interested, to be honest. People deserve good people, and good people are grown. They're grown. They don't, very rarely, I shouldn't say they don't, but very rarely does a person land in your lap that's spot on. And I'm talking husbands, I'm talking kittens, I'm talking puppies, I'm talking people next door. We teach people how to treat us. End of story, right? So if you're not being treated well by your team members, find out where you are wrong. Try and work out, what are you doing? What are the messages that you're sending that lets this person believe that she can call in sick all the time, or lets this person believe that she can just go cross off her day and don't come to work? Where is this message, right? Most people will work out if you have the skill set. But what you've got to decide is, the only thing that's really important before you get the truth is, does a person want it? Because some don't. They say they do and they don't. But how much work is it, right? In the same way as if you took on a junior who's not done any training anywhere else, she's never even worked in a salon in the back room, made a cup of tea or anything, that's a huge risk because you haven't seen any proof, right? Whereas if you had a kid who did through schooling, she's been a Saturday girl, like you can see a trail, but they all started somewhere. Someone gave them a go. So if you're the person who goes, oh no, I don't want to do any of that, I just want to take the person when they're half cooked, or I want to take the person who's qualified, have a think about what message that sends to the universe. I think it's a message of greed. That's what I think. And I think that what have you given back to your community? You've made a wonderful living out of your industry. And how many people have you trained? Think about that. I know people who've been in the industry for 30 years and they brag about it, and they've not trained one hairdresser, one apprentice in anything. They've not had any trainee. And I think, okay, just my judgment, but for me, that doesn't sit right. I think, well, how would the world work if that's the case? That doesn't make sense. To me, that does not make sense. I think it's a giving and receiving, and the more you give, the more you receive. I'm going to say that again. The more you give, the more you will receive. So think about where you are expecting and saying, you don't say it in these words, nobody does, but I want what I want, and I want it now. Okay, so that's a little hard to take, but maybe watch it twice and take notes. But you just need to understand that the only person who can change your view of the world is you. The world isn't going to change. There's always going to be goodies and baddies and great situations and ordinary situations and people who let you down and people who light you up. I think you need to be working on yourself to become the best person you can, and it comes with service. It comes with wanting to give to people more than you want for yourself. And when you do that, there's a real sense of joy in your everyday. And that's even when you fall off your bike. You just go, how lucky am I? So lucky. So lucky. I hope you enjoyed that conversation and had a laugh along the way. If you want some more information on what was just discussed, or even just to connect with me, just check out the links in the show notes. Also, it would mean the world to me if you would like and share this podcast so that we can continue to grow together. I'll see you all next week.